In the previous video, we discovered the chainsaw jigsaw with its mini chainsaw. It has a guide bar, just like a full-size chainsaw, but in miniature. So, yes, of course, I am going to mount it as a table saw, a mini table chainsaw. At 90 degrees and at 45. After a lot of thinking, with 4 holes for these screws and 2 more for this one, I will be able to fix it to one side of the plywood at 90 degrees and to the other side at 45. I countersink the holes on the top side of the plywood. So the screw heads sit below the surface. The thick screw fits perfectly into this hole, on the base of the Advanced Pro Cut. That is what they call it. I center it well, and I add some side stops to make sure it won't shift sideways. Then, I move the saw until the hole in the base lines up with the one in the plywood. I make a leveled base here for the wood block. This will help guide the saw during this movement. I'm going to cut the kerf for the saw blade, for the 90-degree position. The 45-degree position is a different story. We will get to that. Here it is, ready to use at 90 degrees. Cutting the 45-degree kerf for the insert turns out to be trickier. I roughly mark where it should go. I measure the thickness of the plywood and mark that thickness from the line in the direction the guide bar will point. It will come in from around here at the bottom and exit up here at the top. Since I glued these stops, to level the plywood, I need 2 pieces of thin plywood. With this square made of thin plywood, I will make the 0 clearance insert with the 45-degree kerf. I center it over the 2 kerfs I already cut. I cut all around it with a utility knife. And now, I'll make a recess to fit the square in. But that's not the whole trick yet. Here the router bit is flush against the plywood. I adjust the thickness of the thin plywood. And I make a recess in the wood, without cutting into the kerf I made with the utility knife. I finish cleaning out the recess. Perfect. But there's still a woodworking trick left to cut the 45-degree kerf. First, I drill a hole to pass the guide bar through. Okay, I didn't tighten the chuck properly. I want to build a mini table, and the saw will bump into this part. So I am going to cut out an opening. To join all the parts of the table base, I use some screws. And the plywood top goes like this. I center it properly and screw it down. I still need to make the 45-degree kerf, and that has its trick. These legs will help me clamp this cutting table onto the workbench. It is actually looking pretty neat. The cable was getting in the way, and I need better access to tighten the wing nuts. A lock washer. One nut. And I tighten it. The base of this woodworking tool is made of a thick sheet of metal. With that screw in place, the front is now firmly secured. A large washer, a small washer, a lock washer, and a wing nut. In the back, I added 2 screws. On the other side, I placed the screw farther from the base. Now I'm going to cut this metal bracket. I file down the reinforcement it has inside the corner. And I place the screw at just the right distance, so that when I fit the metal piece there, it grabs onto the edge of the machine's base. I tighten the screws well. And let's try it this way, and see how it performs. Well, it cuts quite easily, and it was easy to follow the cutting line along the width of the workpiece. But it splinters the wood at the exit of the cut. And the guide bar gets very hot, but I don't see or smell any burning on the plywood or sawdust. The vertical cut is perfect, and the cut surface looks pretty good. I cut a bit on top of the line there. I should have avoided cutting right on the line. That part is easy. And now, well, carefully, so I don't force the chain sideways. Hey, not bad at all. I adjusted the guide bar perfectly to 45 degrees with the metal base of the saw. And now I'm going to cut the kerf in the insert. First, I mount the saw, of course. I mainly need this metal piece for this step. The magnetic screwdriver is really helpful for placing the washers properly. Here, I move the screw so it won't get in the way of the saw at 45 degrees. I tighten the screws. And here comes the trick. It better be good after all this talk. This piece of thin plywood serves as a base. And here, I left just the right thickness for the plywood. I cut the 45-degree kerf. And now I need to widen the opening to exactly this width. Now the insert fits snugly against the guide bar, and I can lower the insert following the tilt of the bar. Looks promising. We'll see. In case you're curious, at 45 degrees it can cut up to 2 centimeters thick, but there's also a slightly longer guide bar you can buy. Let's test it out. Okay, I think we can improve that. It seems like the kerf was pushing the guide bar downward a bit. I am going to recess the top part of the kerf. Adding a wood strip behind the cut will reduce tear out at the exit. This looks promising. Yep, much better now. Now it's just a matter of adjusting the bar tilt to get a perfect miter cut. I'll leave you the link to the tool review I did on this chainsaw jigsaw thing. Thanks for watching the video, and if you like my videos, subscribe and hit the bell.